Hi, it's Mrs. Alecki. I thought I'd help you out with a little bit of graphing in 305. The goal of this lesson is not to really teach you what marginal cost analysis is completely. That is in the course. You need to read the lesson 305. But what students really get stuck on is how to graph it. So I'm going to use Google Slides again to show you how to create the graph. I will go over some basic ideas, like what is marginal cost analysis. If you own your own business, you would like to know what to sell your product for to make your most money. So that's really what you're doing. The whole point here is companies use marginal analysis as a decision-making tool to help them maximize their profits. So we're going to compare how much it costs to run your business to how much money you're making. Income coming in to expenses going out. And you really would like the income coming in to be higher. So how do we do that? First step is to go in and read all of lesson 305, and then when you get to the very end, it tells you what the assignment needs to be to finish. Go to that last page in 305 and look for the data generator. When you click on it, you're going to see something like this come up. Now, the best way to learn how to do the calculations here is really to go in the lesson. They give you a great tutorial, but I'm just going to go over real quick how to do this as well. So let's talk about, let's see, the profit. The profit is how much money your business is going to make. And you're going to have to calculate it for number 1. You're also going to have to calculate out the marginal revenue for number 2, and then the marginal cost for number 3. So these are 3 totals you're going to have, and they match with the chart down here. If you take a look, marginal revenue is the 4th column, marginal cost is the 6th, and then profit is the 7th column. Let's do profit first because we all want to make money. How do I figure out the profit? Well, total revenue is how much money you're bringing in minus the total cost. So we're looking at these 2 columns. So I'm going to take total revenue, which is 0. Ooh, I didn't make any money yet. But it cost me $60 to do this. So when I take 0 minus 60, I get negative. It's not that great. That means I have a loss. Profit or loss. So I didn't make much money, which happens a lot with a new business the first couple of years. Let's go to the next column, 104 minus 150. I'm going to take a loss again, $46 this time. Notice it's a little getting closer to 0, evening out. 206 minus 246. Now it's negative $40. 360 minus 291. Ooh, what happens there? Ah, we made our first profit. Only $15, but hey, it's something. And then again, I'm going to sit here and subtract all of these. 404 minus 324. I made $80. 500 minus 369. I made $131. 594, 438. I subtract them again. $156, and I'm going to go down to the column. And notice it starts to go down a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to figure out where to hold this steady to make a profit. So we still need some more calculations. Marginal revenue. So how much money are we bringing in? So I take the total revenue minus the total revenue, which doesn't sound normal, but I'm looking at column 3. What I'm going to do is take 104 minus 0. So we're going to compare when we went from 0 sold to 1 sold. And remember, quantity is how many things you're selling. I'm going to sell from whatever I'm selling, from 0 to 8 of them. Let's see, $105 to $97. How about a nice headset for $100 range area? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these numbers. Remember, total revenue minus total revenue. So 104 minus 0 is easy math. It's 104. The first one you had nothing to subtract to from, so it's a 0. Now I take 206 minus 104. I get $102. 306 minus 206. That's easy. It's $100 off the top of my head. 404 minus 306. I'm going to sit here and subtract 500 minus 504. And again, I'm not going into all the detail of why. That's in the lesson. It's the math real quick so I can fill in the columns. I'm going to do the same thing for cost, and it's a nice little pattern because now it's total cost. That's how much money it costs to actually run your business. And I'm going to do the subtraction, 150 minus 60. So I'm getting $90. Notice I can't fill in anything here. You could put 0 if you wanted to, like I did in the other one. And then 246 minus 150 is 96. 291 minus 246 I'm just going to recommend again you watch the tutorial. They show you how to do the math here. Simple subtraction, but you do need to understand the concept of y. So now I have all this data and I need to graph it. And I'm going to graph the marginal revenue. That's this row right here, marginal revenue. And I'm going to also do another line on the same graph with this marginal cost. And I have to make two separate lines, and I'm going to compare it to the quantity. So how many did I sell? If I sell 0, I make a marginal revenue of 0. If I sell 1, I make a marginal revenue of 104. If I sell 2, a marginal revenue of 2. And notice this is going to be one of my lines. This is going to be the marginal revenue quantity versus marginal revenue. A second line that you're going to put on the same exact graph is quantity versus marginal cost. I take 0 and 0. 1 and 90, 2 and 96. The trick is, how do I do this? I want it to look something like that, but I got to start with a blank Google Sheets form. Let's see. So if you use Google Sheets, or a spreadsheet is fine. I just like to use Google Docs and Google Sheets. I'm going to go up here. I opened up a new Google Sheets. I'm going to label it 3.05. And I need to have my information that I need to graph to make it look like that. So I'm going back here. And all I need is a couple of columns. I need this column, so I'm going to highlight everything here in quantity, 0 to 8, and everything here for marginal revenue, 0 to 90. And this one, marginal cost, is 0 to 126. Going to place it right here. Let me delete that so it doesn't show anymore. So I placed it here. Notice that this is the quantity. The marginal revenue is here. Just to remind you, all I did was take the three columns, quantity column, marginal revenue column, and the marginal cost. Now I placed it into a Google Sheets. I called it 305. Now, what I'm going to do is highlight these three columns, and I'm going to go to Insert, because it's going to make the graph for me, or the chart. It doesn't do it real easy at first. It's going to make kind of the wrong one when you click Chart. Notice that I got a bar graph. That's not great. Let me expand my picture here so you can see what I see. So it did make a chart, but it's a bar one. I don't want that. So if you're used to using this, it's nice because you'll know how to use these tools over here. But I'm going to emphasize, and just in case you don't, so I'm going to go here, and I want a chart that has a line. So all I did was click Data, and then I went to Column Chart, because what type of chart do I want? I want a line one. And so you could pick lines down here. But notice this one's showing up. That one's only showing up because I've been messing around with my graphing and I've used it a few times. So yours might look like that. And I end up with this graph. And notice there's red, and it's called marginal cost, which is nice. You're getting everything done for you here. Marginal cost is the red line. Marginal revenue, which is column B, is the blue line. So these two lines meet. The numbers of quantities sold go from 0 to 8, so that's done from you, and the price went from 0 to 150. Now, the only thing I don't have here, like you should have things like a title on your graph, and it comes up because of the columns that I have. Notice the first column A is quantity, column B is marginal revenue, and column C is marginal cost. So because I labeled them that before I actually made the graph, it actually comes out for me with a title and a quantity. Now what I want to do is I'd also like to put something here so it shows the price on my y-axis, because the x-axis is labeled because quantity was there, but the y one is not. So when I do that, let's see, I go from Data, so I pick the line graph, I go to Customize. Now let's see, Chart Style is here, Chart Axis is here. So what I want to do is chart axis, I think I said it was the Y or the vertical one, right? So I go to vertical, and I'm going to give it a title. Perfect. So now this graph is awesome, but what does it mean? You need to know this point right here, right where the blue and the red actually intersect, or where the marginal revenue line, which is blue, intersects the marginal cost. And what that does is it tells me the price I should sell my product at. So I actually went over here and I put a point right here. I just picked point shapes so that I know if I click on this, if I sell 6 headsets, I should sell them for like $69. It's actually reading the graph for me, but you can do it yourself. I want this one right here. So it's somewhere between 6 and 7. I sell 7 for like $90. So I'm just reading the graph. That's the point that I want. That point is going to tell me what's the best price to sell my headsets. So let's take a look. When you go to turn in your assignment, what you need to do is you have to turn in this graph that we just created in Google Sheets or in a spreadsheet, however you want to do it. So here are my calculations. Here's the graph. And that's part of it, but then there's a few questions that you have to do. You have to make sure in step 4 of your directions that you had to create a graph, you have to have a title, you have to have a label for the X and the Y. So the X is quantity, the Y is price. So we've got that. Based on the data for your table, graph the marginal revenue curve, label it MR. We did that. MR is blue and MC is red. Okay. Based on the data of your table and the graph marginal cost, we did that as well. So we're doing okay. But what we want to do is answer these questions. In step 5, what product did you choose? I think I said headsets, right? And I would explain headsets because I know if I go to the store right now, I can get myself a headset to use somewhere in the area of $100. So that's why I picked it. At what price, for question number 2, does the marginal cost nearly equal the marginal revenue without exceeding it? This is where you've got to go to the lines. This is why they graph it. That point right here. All right. And you want to highlight it or put a draw tool on it. So let's see if I can put something, a little star right here. That's really a big star. Doesn't matter what you put, that right here. So mine is, this is a 6 and that's an 8. So it's somewhere like 6.5 headsets for $94, I'm going to guess. The thing is 6.5 headsets. Who's going to buy a half a headset? So I'm going to change it to 6 for $90 or $94. So question number 3, I got the price off of that graph and I highlighted it with the star and I came up with a point 6 and $90. If you were a business for this product, at which price or quantity level would you sell it, and explain why? If I sell 6 of them for $90, I'll make the best profit. I can't sell 6.5 of them because I wouldn't want to sell half of a headset. Basically, that's how you do all of this lesson. Oh, I have all these slides over here. So that was basically how to do your marginal cost analysis. I need to emphasize again, go back to lesson 305 and read through, do the activities, watch the videos so you understand what a marginal cost analysis is. This lesson was just all about how to use Google Sheets to graph it. And if you get stuck, you could always hit the pause button. You can come back and see all these little tools on the right that you can go from data to customize so you can change things. I hope this helps. Have a great day.